Good afternoon everybody and welcome to the channel. And today we're going to be looking at this. The Winnerwell Nomad View in small. Isn't she cute? So if you're toying with that purchase decision, hopefully today's video will help you out some. Let's get into it. So this is the actual stove, and what you actually get in the kit is the stove itself, an ash scraper, you get some 2.1 inch pipes, I think there's 4 of them, a spark arrestor. It doesn't come with the bag, that is an optional extra and I think was about an extra 30 quid. And then there's also a section of the flue pipe which has a dampener on it to allow airflow in or out. Now all of these sections should fit back inside the actual Winnerwell stove. And I've only managed to do that once. It's harder than a Rubik's Cube and I can do one of them. So generally what I tend to do is actually just pack as much as I can in there, and I keep the spark arrestor in one of the pockets in the side of the bag. It's just easier than fannying about with it. So let's get it set up inside the half Lavvu that I put up in my front garden for today and see what it looks like. So that's it set up. As you can see, it's super simple. Just take out the sections of the pipes, slot them all together, feed it through the armhole in the Lavvu, and it just sits nicely on the floor. And the reason I bought the small was because of the size. I wanted it to fit inside this Lavvu specifically for this shelter. The Nomad's made of 304 stainless steel, which makes it very tough and durable. It's ideal for camping, winter hot tenting, and a perfect fit inside the Polish Lavvu. The dimensions across the cooking area of the stove are 15.5 centimeters across. Around 32.5 centimeters in length, and it sits about 28 centimeters high off the ground when the legs are extended. The stove also has 2 retractable side arms that fold up when being stored or carried. You can actually use these as a carry, and they're made of really thick material. These hinges are good quality, and they fold out when in operation and add approximately an extra 15 centimeters or so of usable space for your pots, your pans, any cups, anything you don't want to be on this hot area. These stay completely cool throughout operation, so you won't be burning anything that you put on there. The Winnerwell has a door with a chrome handle, and this glass panel can be taken out with this screw to be cleaned or replaced. And it also has an air vent at the bottom of the stove, which can be placed in a couple of different positions, completely shut, so no airflow is allowed through. Position 1, where just a touch of air is allowed through, and then completely open to really draw that air through and start your fire. The stove comes with a grate inside to lay your fire on, and that allows airflow through the bottom. It has a removable plate on the top, which means you can cook straight on the flame for extra heat if need be. I just keep it on, to be honest, and that locks into place. Now when cooking and this bit gets super hot, you do get the included ash scraper, and on the end of that has a little hook section. That hook section can go underneath there and allow you to pull that out safely so you don't burn yourself. Now what I would recommend if you're going to use this inside the Lavvu is to have something that will keep it away from the side of the canvas material on the Lavvu. So as you can see in the background, the pipes will touch the Lavvu by default. So you need something to keep them away from this material so this doesn't burn. And my solution for that was just this cutlery strainer that I got from the range. It was only about £4, and what I've done is cut a hole which is the same size as the chimney pipes, and that just sits on top of the pipes inside the armhole of the Lavvu and keeps all of the material around this instead of around the hot pipe, and it worked a treat last time I tried it. The stove is listed on the Winnerwell website as being 6.4 kilograms in weight, but I find that's not the true weight because I added the carry bag into it and then the extra bits for the Lavvu. Always carry some wood in there as well, so what I would say is be prepared to carry probably up to 10 kilograms for the whole package once you've got everything inside. I'm going to drop in some footage of when I last used this stove actually inside the Lavvu on a wild camp so you can see it in action. You can see there's plenty of room on the top of the stove to cook. I had a big frying pan on there full of food. And what I will say is this gets incredibly hot. It was so hot it was glowing red. So be really careful around that. You do not want to touch that once the stove is in operation. So what do I love about it and what do I hate about it? Well, hate's a strong word. Number one, it's going to keep you very warm in the depths of winter. Inside the Lavvu, last time I had this running, it was up to 27 degrees at night. Toasty. Had to take off all my thermals, in fact. Number two, it's made of quality materials. The stainless steel doesn't rust. It should last a lifetime. The only things that I can really see going wrong with it are maybe me breaking one of the glass panels, which are fully replaceable. You can buy extra chimney pipes, they're fully replaceable. And there's extra materials that you can actually buy for this, like a water tank which sits on the back of it and boils a kettle for you. You might get that in future. The top of the stove is actually made of 1/8 inch thick stainless steel, whereas the rest of the body is made from 1/16, so it's double the thickness on the top of the stove, and that's for better heat dissipation. So yeah, it's built to last, it's made from quality materials, and I expect this will last me a lifetime. And then the number 3 pro, why I think you should buy this, well, it's cool AF, isn't it? I mean, just look at it. It's a quality piece of craftsmanship. It's a quality piece of gear. And I think if you have a Polish Lavvu and you intend to do any kind of winter camping in it, it will serve you well. As with every product, there's some trade-offs, and I've got 3 reasons perhaps why you might not want to pick up a Winnerwell Nomad View. The first being the weight. As I said before, it's listed as 6.4 kilograms on the website, but it's more like 10. By the time you've got the Lavvu, all your cooking gear, everything on your back, your sleeping equipment, your mats and sleeping bags, all of that kind of stuff, you are carrying a hell of a lot of gear. So you aren't going to be carrying this for miles and miles. I had to stop 3 times on a mile journey from my car with all my gear, plus my camera gear, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I was sweating buckets. So if you're going to carry this stove, it needs to be somewhere short distance from the car. That's the first con. The second con is something I was really disappointed with, to be honest. I bought this particular model because of the extra glass panel at the side, with a view to, literally a view, to thinking that I would be looking inside that, watching the fire burn throughout the night, and it's just like homely comfort. Now you can do that, and I'll drop in some sequences now of what that looks like, but as you can see, the glass just gets filthy. Now I've used this a couple of times now and I've cleaned it each time, but still I'm getting a lot of soot and dirt on the glass. So if you want to be regularly cleaning that, that's just a bit of a disadvantage, I'd say. You can get the normal Nomad without this second glass panel. In hindsight, maybe would have got that one instead of the side view option. Now, quick Google tells me that the best way to clean that is just to get a cloth with some ash that's left over from the actual fire, and then just use that to clean the glass panel. It should come off a lot better. I tried it with some vinegar and household products, and it was a bit of a nightmare. I ended up having to scrape it with my knife to get some of that off. Not ideal, just another con really. And then the final is the price. This is going to put some of you off. I toyed with the decision for quite some time, and I nearly went for a cheaper model. There are cheaper models to be out there. I think the Outbacker stove is a very popular choice for the Lavvu, and then you can go right up to the G stove, which is even more expensive than the Winnerwell, I think. But this Winnerwell cost me £300, and then I paid an extra, I think it was 30 for the carrying bag. So it's a substantial outlay for something that you might only use over winter for a few camps here and there with the Lavvu. Most of my winter camps will probably be in a tent on the side of a mountain somewhere. I won't be in the Lavvu all of the time, so it's just something to bear in mind that this is an expensive piece of equipment, but then you get what you pay for, I guess. Having said that, for all of its cons, all of its negatives, do I think you should buy it? That's a question you'll have to answer. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. I love it, and I'm glad I purchased it. Thanks very much for tuning in. If the video was helpful, drop it a like, and if it was really helpful, maybe consider subscribing. Now we just need lockdown to end so we can get out and use this bad boy. Take it easy, everyone. Peace out.